and now we're going to go back to the office. It's not going to happen, right? Hybrid working is here to stay. Hello everyone, my name's Craig. I'm Craig Griffin. I'm the Director of Software Engineering here on the beach actually. I'm not a speaker, I'm not a talker. My subject's probably going to be quite dull compared to our colleagues, but individuals. So apologies in advance in case it's not as tech, but I don't like speaking generally, so this is quite nerve-wracking for me, so bear with me. I'm going to try and keep breathing, that's the main thing. So we're going to talk about maintaining culture in a hybrid world. Before I do that, I'm going to share some personal stories about me as a bit of an introduction, but also as a bit of an opener to hybrid working as well. So, oh God, I'm old now. I turned 50 3 months ago. Yeah, it sucks, right? But about 20 years ago, 25 years ago, my first real job, I was working for a software house in Cheadle, a small software house. We did billing systems for people like British Gas. I got sent on site to British Gas down in Staines. Ali G's from Staines, by the way, maybe not old enough, but. And Staines is this interesting town down south. And I used to get an aeroplane, believe it or not, from Manchester Airport to Heathrow, because Heathrow is very near Staines. Go into the office, do my work. I lived in a travel lodge for 9 months. I ate grapes every day, and yeah, I did get bigger. So job number 2. Well, job number 3 actually. I've moved to London, working for a company called Beazley, part of the Lloyds Insurance Syndicate. They had a big presence in the US. So every 2 weeks, I was leading 3 teams, 3 product teams. I'd fly over to Boston every 2 weeks, work Monday to Friday, and then fly. It sounds very glamorous, by the way, and it is at first. You're like, oh, look at me. Trust me, after the 3rd trip, it sucks. I lived in a Holiday Inn, and I went to Five Guys nearly every day. This was the original Five Guys, not like the one at Trafford Centre. This was the proper one. But again, got big. This was my life, right? Can you imagine it now? Job number 3. A bit more local, working in a place called Yodel on Albert Dock in Liverpool, beautiful location. Living in Manchester, I used to do that horrible motorway every morning. On a good day, it was 1.5 hours. I'm sure some people in this room might have done it. 1.5 hours to Liverpool, sit in the office, do my job, 1.5 hours back. I fell asleep at the wheel once. I used to go to Greg's on the way and eat my breakfast. Nightmare. And I was thinking, right, can you imagine that in today's world? And people talk about hybrid working and how we're going to go back to the office. It's not going to happen, right? Hybrid working is here to stay. There's no doubt about that. Those scenarios that I went through, none of those would happen today. I'd be working remotely. So I think that's evidence that it's not going to change. So a little bit more into the talk. So hybrid working. So what is culture? It's a tough question, right? How can I actually define it? I plagiarised this on the internet. This is 4 pillars of culture that somebody was talking about. I've not got time to talk about benefits. That's why it's crossed out. So firstly, time and space. That's one of the pillars. It's all around the time we spend at work, the place, the location. Sorry, I'm moving around. Should I keep still? We've got really trendy about office space. Look at this place. It's beautiful, right? Cool, trendy. Let's attract people. Let's make our culture our office. It's a big thing. I mean, look at this place. They've got a slide. Imagine that at work. You know what? Sad to say, I think it's dead. Your place of work no longer defines your culture like it did just 3 years ago. Still great to have these spaces, but we need way more than this when it comes to culture. Lots of words here, but defining your work day I think is important. When we're working remotely, try and get some consistency, try and structure schedules, make sure that when you're in the office and out of the office, people know about it. Fixed hours versus productivity management, right? I get asked by the C-suite upstairs, my boss, what's productivity like, people working from home? You know what, it's the wrong question. Let's just make sure teams are delivering their goals. Whether they do it from on the beach, whether literally on the beach, whether they do it from an office, whether they do it from the home, whether it takes them an hour a week, 40 hours a week, or 100 hours a week. I don't care, as long as those goals are being met. As long as those business metrics are moving in the right direction. So think about productivity-based management over actual working hours. Lots of words. Unintentional exclusion. This is a big issue, actually. If you think about people working in the office, they have more presence, they get to have more conversations. There's no doubt in my mind the opportunities for them is greater. Oh, he's in the office every day, she's in the office every day. Promotion, think about it. When you're at home, those opportunities aren't as great. So be careful about unintentional exclusion in the workplace. And let's talk more about inequality. Because there's no doubt there's been a kind of in-office more, out-of-office more, fully remote, part remote. It's definitely creating kind of categories of people and how they're identified and how they work. Think about physical space. About 2 years ago, during COVID, I went through bad times in my personal life. I was living in a single room. I rolled out of bed and I rolled onto my laptop, literally. And that was my work life for a while. Guess what? I had a Zoom background. Not many people knew. Some people have an office space, some people don't. So be mindful of that and make up for it. Group dynamics I just talked about, well, it's definitely changed. Like I say, I think there's a division between people coming into the office and people not coming to the office. People judging people who come into the office and people who don't. Let's not judge. Let's have true hybrid working, true flexibility. Let's have equality for all. I love this word. I love a word of the day. So, I can't even say it now. Bifurcated, my new word of the day. I can't remember exactly what it means, that's quite embarrassing. Something about divisions and two different things. But more on this, in-person employees have characteristics that remote employees don't. Leading by example, that first bullet point is incorrect. It should say, don't always be in the office, so don't always be remote. So I think about myself as a leader on the beach. I've got a 4-year-old. I'd love to be in the office every single day. I'm not, because I'm mindful of what that says to my team. They'll be under pressure, indirect pressure, a lot of sort of guys pressure. They will see me in the office and they'll feel like they need to come to the office. So mirror the work patterns of your people. Communication. Big impact in a hybrid world, right? Lots of word here, lots of words. But there's technical limitations. Some people have great internet, some people don't. Friction between team members because they're not communicating in person. Those, I used to smoke, I still smoke actually, but going out for a cig, those conversations you'd have, those water cooler chats, you miss all that sort of stuff. Connection with people from other teams. On the beach, we're product-based, we have around 14 product teams. Well, how does Bob speak to Bill when they're working on different product teams in a remote world? It's a real problem. And the lines between homework and the office have been blurred. My wife calls it Slack attack. There's a certain noise my phone makes. But Slack attacks happen more often now than they used to. They ping when I'm at home. And virtual communication alone is not enough. There's been many studies around this 93%. And there's not a lot we can do about it. We can't really make up for it too much. We need to be aware of it. This might be controversial, but I believe that everyone that joins a VC should have the bloody camera switched on. It's just polite, right? And double down on body language cues, look for them. It's much more difficult when you're not in person. Conflict. Who sent an email and you wish you could recall it? I'm sure you all have, I know I have. Who's seen a communication from a colleague and taken offence at it when actually they weren't trying to be offensive? So digital communication requires more thought. When we speak verbally, especially being British, we're full of pleases and thank yous. We have a lot of filling in where we make the conversation nicer and easier. That doesn't happen when you Slack someone. It's very direct. So be mindful about communications in the virtual world. Maintaining your culture. Physical challenges. This was me. It's not me, but it was me a couple of years ago. That's what it felt like. My daily steps. I used to do 10,000 steps a day when I was in the office. I'm looking to do 2,000 now. I have to go running instead. That sucks. Be mindful that people are working in different circumstances than you might be, is what I'm trying to say. Physical, I guess, disadvantages as well. I mean, these are real stats. People complain about more back pain, for example, from being at home and not moving around as much. Some things you can do is offer to cover the costs. So think about ergonomics and funding that. Don't be stingy. Pay your people, we spend a lot of money to make sure people are safe at work. Why can't we spend lots of money to make sure people are safe at home? Again, lots of words, mental awareness. I mean, there's many things that we would treasure on the beach. A culture of feedback, making sure people don't work too many hours. Fairness and justice, job security, could go on. These words for me, they're always important. I think they're even more important in a hybrid world. The importance of, just to wrap up a little bit, the importance of company culture. It needs to go beyond the workplace. We need to get people to really buy into the sense of belonging. That belonging, when you come to an office every day together, naturally occurs, not so much in a hybrid world. So think about purpose, think about belonging. But also lots of social events and try to have some fun as well. Tonight's one example of that. Some examples of fun. This isn't a virtual tactic, obviously, because it's up a mountain. But on the beach, the engineering managers get together, we go for a hike, we're doing it with our leadership team. So when we do come together with physical presence, make it special. Go for a hike, have a beer, have some dinner at the end of it. Weekly all hands. Then on the beach, we have something called beach overflow. It's been a treasure in lockdown. Every week, the exec get on the call. There's guest speakers. We open the books. We share what's going on. It's allowed us to stay connected. But try and keep your cameras on, Beer and bingo. A month ago, I looked this up. It's my dreams to be bingo called. But beer and bingo, it's wonderful. Connection. Continue to create those traditions. Be mindful of what you've got already, what you need to continue, but also be mindful of all the stuff you'll need to do in this new world in which we live. Personality traits is an interesting one. All this stuff's important, like effective communication, patience, resilience, being organised, that's my worst one, bias for action, facilitation skills. We all look for these things in the people we recruit. I think these things are even more important in a hybrid world. People need these skills, and if you recruit for them, but also invest in the people you've got to help them with those skills. And that's how I think we help. Some ideas around how we maintain our culture in this hybrid world. Thank you for listening.